You think you know about vampires? You don't know about vampires. But why don't we start at the beginning? Vlad Tepes, also nicknamed Vlad Dracula or Dracula by foreigners, ruled the Romanian country between 1456 and 1462, and also 1476. While he ruled, the Romanian country temporarily obtained independence from the Ottoman Empire, the Empire of the Turks. Vlad Tepes was well known for his severity and because he used to impale his enemies. They say that as soon as he became ruler in 1456, he gathered all the thieves and the beggars in a house, and after honoring them with a banquet, he burned them alive. The rebel or the disobedient governors, he used to impale them. It was a horrible and creepy torture. He would set a sharp stake in the ground, cover it with grease, and stick it slowly up there to his neck, avoiding all the vital organs, thus ensuring a slow and painful death. The crows used to eat their eyeballs. Vlad Tepes fought to defend his country and reign, with execution and torture of exemplary, intimidating character. The origin of his nickname Dracula comes from his father, who was called Vlad Dracul because he belonged to the Order of the Dragon. Vlad III, Vlad Tepes, he was held hostage until 1448 and his brother until 1462. This period of captivity played a very important role in the forming and ascension to power of Vlad. The conflict with the Ottoman Empire in 1459, Tepes refuses to pay the tribute, the obligation that the Turks demanded every year. They say that when Vlad reigned, you could lose a coin in the road and nobody would take it. Vlad was recognized as Prince of Wallachia for the third time in 1475, but he enjoyed a very short reign. He was assassinated at the end of December 1476, probably by the same governors that were afraid of his revenge. Bram Stoker never visited Romania. In the description of the imaginary Dracula's castle, he starts with a presentation of the castle Bram that was available in England at the end of the 9th century. Dracula, as we perceive him today, is purely a fictitious character. His name derives from the nickname given to Vlad the Impaler, who was described as a bloodthirsty, ruthless despot. The character Count Dracula appears for the first time in the novel Dracula, written by the Irish writer Bram Stoker, that was published in 1897 in England. Count Dracula, imagined by Stoker, is a vampire centuries old, a Transylvanian nobleman. A Transylvanian count is of course not Prince Vlad Tepes of the Romanian country. In the villages that neighbor Bram, and not only there are beliefs of maleficent spirits called ghosts or Strigoi. They refer to people that are seemingly alive, that during the day they lead a very normal life, but at night, while they sleep, their spirit leaves their bodies from midnight until the first rooster crow, troubling the sleep of the villagers, draining them of strength. The undead, the vampires, the Strigoi, suffer from the curse of immortality, says Stoker. They traverse the times, leaving victims, spreading evil. And now I will read you from the book. A villager cuts with a knife the heart of his father's Strigoi. The terrible story that we will tell is true and happened before the war in Oltenia. An Oltean that was haunted by spells was always visited at night by the Strigoi of his father, who died only a few months before. And look what a ghastly deed the son of the deceased has done. We read black on white, the newspaper, the universe, on February 13, 1927, and we can hardly believe our eyes. The desecration of the commune Galiciuica, Dolj County, Craiova, 11 February 1922. Petre Dumitru Ciocălteu of the commune Galiciuica with 6 other villagers, friends of his, went overnight in the village cemetery and unearthed the body of his father, dead in October 1926. Although putrefaction set in a long time ago, his remains were laid out on a wooden bed because Petre, denatured son, possessed of barbaric beliefs to split the flesh that remained of his father's body to remove his heart. Once in possession of said organ, Petre Dumitru Ciocălteu he set the heart of his father, burning it to ashes. He took care to throw the mangled body scraps back in the hole and cover them with dirt. This savagery was committed on motive that his father became a Strigoi and came at night to disturb his sleep. But of course, after his monstrous act, the sleep of the denatured son will be even more troubled. Such shocking, gruesome happenings are reported in an old book of magic folklore of the conductor of the railway station, Codlea Brașov and Dumitrașcu, a prestigious folklorist who printed under the aegis of the Romanian Academy in 1929 the volume Strigoi. The author picks a number of true occurrences about Strigoi. We hereby reproduce a few that are disturbing and dreadful. The white stallion in the cemetery of night. The atrocity below truly happened in the commune Vălgiulești of County Mehedinți, north of Strigoi, on the river Motru. Resident Dumitru Voideanu, originally from Voideni Vâlcea, Hungarian, moved to this village and married a local girl. He went and had lots of children, as the custom is in these villages. But as soon as she gave birth to them, they immediately died out of nowhere. Thus 6 children died, except for the oldest, who still lived. The poor man was black with sadness and mourning, not knowing the cause of the blight. One man told him to take a white stallion and to ride him in the cemetery at night. There he was to ride this white horse over all the graves of his relatives, and thus the poor man has set on to do. He took White Stallion and went one Friday night to the cemetery where he buried all of his babies. The horse passed over all of his relatives' graves, but when he came upon the grave of his mother-in-law, Ioana Marta, well-known witch, over 6 villages, the White Stallion suddenly reared on his hind legs, beating the earth with his hooves, neighing and snorting frightened. Dumitru Voideanu could not make him jump over the grave. I reckon he was the unclean. Overnight, he and his son took candles and went to exhume his mother-in-law. They dug and reached the coffin. My dear God, what did they find? What did they find? They were mortified when they found the dead woman sitting Turkish style with her long hair drooping all over her face. She was hairy and red with long nails, a dreadful sight. What did they do? They gathered thistles from the graveyard and dried sticks and pieces of cross. They threw the Strigoica over them. They threw wine all over her and set her on fire. What a waste of wine. After that, they put the remainders back in the hole, put the dirt back and went home. Since then, no newborn has died or was born. In the same Mehedinți county, but in the south, in the commune of Cușmir, a crippled lad died. Are the word cripple and crippled are considered appropriate nowadays? It's not politically correct in the 21st century, no? After a time, his closest relatives started dying and the other villagers was always sick. They were slowly wilting away. All the villagers were saying, "What is it? What is it? It must be the lame, the disabled boy." Prejudice. That turned into a Strigoi. Let's dig him up. They excavated him one Saturday night and they found him red, sitting on his side in his coffin. The villagers split the crippled boy. the heart out and his liver. They were bleeding, as if he just recently died. They burned them and the ashes, and they gave to his sister and his other ill relatives. They immediately got well, proving that only now the damned Strigoi was finally defeated. In the same Kashmir, started to die one after another from another family. They supposed that an old man, long since dead, was the culprit. When they exhumed the old-timer, they found him sitting Turkish style and he was red, like a fiery pear, as the damned Strigoi ate a whole generation. The demon was heavy and robust. They removed him from his grave and they couldn't even cut him with a knife. Only with a scythe and an axe could they split the old man vampire, cut a piece of heart and the liver, burn them in a big fire. And the ash of the heart and liver they gave the sick people to drink, and they became healthy again. Reading such terrifying events that happened in the Carpathian space, we come to believe that the great maestro of horror fiction, Bram Stoker, would shudder. But what are vampires or Strigoi? To give us a better idea of what the Romanian people mean by the term Strigoi or vampire, we will recall the definition that Aurel Cândrea gave in the dictionary. It is a human being, male or female, that is born into this world with a skull cap, that is a loose skin on the head when the baby is born, and a prolonged spinal column like a tail, but not too long and covered with hair. He minds his business all day like all people, but at night, as soon as he's asleep, his soul departs and goes to hang out with other Strigoi, and his body remains of his dead on the bed. The souls of these vampires meet in special places at crossroads and they play together. Strigoi, and especially the Strigoice, sexist, are extremely mean. They kill babies and suck their blood. They ruin marriages. They impoverish people, make cows dry and kill crops. When one of these demonic creatures that is believed to be a Strigoi dies, a wooden stake or a fire-heated metal bar is thrust through the heart so that their soul cannot escape the grave to torment other people. It is also believed that they can transform in different animals, wolves, dogs, etc. And dead Strigoi, beings that have died and were buried, and whose souls leave the grave into a body and do earthly things among people. Who becomes a Strigoi? The child who can cast the evil eye is considered a Strigoi. The people who hate garlic and don't like frankincense are Strigoi. Strigoi are tall with red eyes, long nails, body covered in hair, and the spine is continued in a hairy tail. Some say that they have horse legs, hairy hands, and a big ogre mouth. The Strigoi has a human appearance when he walks at night, but in the morning you only find full tracks. A Strigoi can be recognized by people born on a Saturday. How random. So make sure to eat your garlic, boys and girls, so the vampire does not suck your blood.